it's unfortunate in politics that it is so negative, although I have to tell you, negative ads are what work. And people who are running campaigns and candidates recognize that. Now, not always, but just as an example, when I ran for governor in Massachusetts, we had some ads with me and Ann and our family that we thought were marvelous. And the guy who put the ads together and was a strategist said, look, these are the best ads I've seen since Ronald Reagan and his ads. And so we ran them in Massachusetts, and the more we ran them, the worse I did. And someone remarked, people think you're too good to be true. That doesn't seem real. And about this time, my opponent, Shannon O'Brien, who was the state treasurer, made the remark that she had been the watchdog of the state treasury. And so my campaign consultant put together an ad, and it had a doggy bed that said state treasurer on it, and a big basset hound asleep in the bed. And it said, Shannon O'Brien says she's the watchdog of the Treasury. And in the background, there are people taking bags of cash and putting them in a truck called Enron, which was a scandalized company at the time. And then it said, now she wants to be governor. At that point, the dog lifted its head up and its ears flopped out. I was 10 points behind when that ad began to run. I won by 5 points 2 weeks later. Negative works. What I can say is this. That's part of the political process. You're going to have positive and negative. But for me, the most important criteria is the ad truthful, and is what being said truthful. And there's got to be a way to come down harder on things that are not truthful. Sometimes there were ads that came out of my campaign that ended up creating a wrong impression or that were simply wrong, and I pulled them as soon as I learned about it. And yet, in some cases, and I won't describe precisely the ads, there were things that were wrong, were pointed out to be wrong, and the opposition kept running them and running them and running them, much to my detriment. I think there's got to be a more severe penalty on the part of the voters for those campaigns that run things that are untruthful and keep hammering them and creating wrong impressions. But the give and take of politics is part of what you're getting into. If you can't stand the heat, as they say, don't get into the kitchen. And by the way, I respect the people on both sides of the aisle. Ted Kennedy and I could not have been more different, could not have been more different politically. But I respected the man, and we worked together. We became friends of sorts, traveling together to try and fight for bases to be kept in Massachusetts, working together on health care and education. I respected him, even though we disagreed, and we battled each other. I mean, I ran against him for U.S. Senate, and we went hammer and tong, but he was truthful in the attacks he made on me, and I the same way, and therefore we respected each other, and in some respects admired our respective commitment to the country.